reflecting the rifts between inside a political situation of Washington D.C. Reflected by Donald Trump's tweets, because I guess in among the Republicans, not necessarily all people agree with Trump,
No.
and their disagreements towards how to deal with Doha, Saudi Arabia, and Iran peace deal, some of this kind of thing. Do you see there is also the disagreement, and how wide the gap of that disagreement?
Well, I mean, at one level, I think it's very personalized. I don't think that Trump's tweets are necessarily the reflection of a contest between, the Washington establishment, Republican and Democrat, and these new Trump insiders. I think what we're seeing in those tweets is just very raw Donald Trump. That said, I think his instincts, Trump's instincts, do have some alignment with some of these outside figures who have become prominent in the White House. Steve Bannon, Steve Miller, the former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn. And so, yes, I think it's fair to say that there is, with respect to a number of foreign policy issues, a struggle going on between let me call them the national security professionals, the career people who work on these issues, led, I think, most clearly by the current National Security Advisor, Mr. McMaster, and also the Secretary of Defense, Mr. Mattis. And we've seen numerous examples now where McMaster and Mattis are on one side of the issue, and Bannon and Miller and these people are on the other side of the issue with respect to relations with Europe and NATO.
And specifically to Iran peace deal, what is the divide there? What's your judgment?
Yes, the Iran peace deal, I think, is one of those issues that creates this. Some of the things that Trump said during the campaign, like, I'm going to tear up the Iran deal. I mean, it's just impossible to tear up a deal like that. He was never going to be able to do that. So some of these issues are not just are not based on disagreements between one group that wants to do one thing and another group that wants to do something different. Some of the policy positions that candidate Trump took were so extraordinary and extreme that it was never going to be possible to implement them in policy. And I think that's what was so frustrating to most of us, is that he was saying things not only that we disagreed with, but that it's impossible to actually implement as policy, in some cases for legal reasons. And so I think the big question now is, as his presidency moves forward, will he display learning behavior? Will he adjust himself to the very real constraints of policymaking in Washington? In which case he has the hope of maybe having some success on certain foreign policy issues. I think if he were to adopt a conventional Republican foreign policy outlook, he could have some success. We know how to do that in Washington. If he continues on the current course, I think it's just going to cause confusion within Washington itself and chaos. Exactly right. because we can't understand the strategic logic that lies behind the thinking.
Okay. And the last question,
Yeah.
some diplomats saying that the tension between Obama and the Gulf countries is partly because of his characteristics, because he wasn't interested in building personal relation with the leaders in other countries.
真的要走了，你还还要问吗？
就最后一个问题。
我们已经超时了。
But Donald Trump, it seems that he did better than Obama. So do you think Trump's approach is effective?
Yeah, it's
To-
kind of Donald Trump is using this kind of opaque way, closed door,
Yeah.
Yes.
and Obama is in a much more transparent way
Yes.
to get things done.
Directly communicate with Arab people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. No, I mean, I think this was a feature of the Obama leadership style, that it was a little bit more formal. For example, I sense that President Trump had some great success with your president here in China.
Yeah.
And I think, Trump is perhaps less formal than most world leaders, and he defaults to a style of engagement that is very much that of a businessman who wants to make friends with you
Yeah.
before he makes a deal
Yeah.
with you. And there are some world leaders who will respond well
Yeah.
to this, so I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing. I don't think that Obama's leadership style and personal style was the main source of tension, say, between him and the Saudis. It maybe contributed to it, but I think it was some of the policy positions of the
Yeah.
Obama administration
Okay.
more broadly. So I think Trump could have some success if he used the skills he has through his personal style to communicate, but then if he were to leave the details of the policy making and the strategic vision of the policy making to the professionals, then this could actually serve him quite well.
Okay.
And do you see what Democrats can do in this Trump's administration? Do you how much, to what degree Democrat can still play a role shaping Donald Trump's policy?
Well, I mean, it's very difficult because we don't have, the Democrats have control of no major institutions in government right now. Before, even though the Congress was dominated by the Republicans, the Democrats had the White House, and so there was that. It is, however, there is enough Republican suspicion towards Donald Trump,
Yeah.
particularly in the upper house of the Congress, in the
Mhm,
United
yeah.
States Senate,
Yeah.
that I think that the U.S. Senate is the institution where there's the greatest ability for the Democrats to have some overlap in view with some Republicans in order to be able to exert influence on the White House. Of course, the United States Congress is very powerful. It controls the money. It has the ability through its oversight function to examine and raise questions about the policies of the executive branch. And so I think there are certain issues like the role of Russia in the world that enjoy broad-based bipartisan support and interest. And so I think there are some issues where working through the U.S. Senate, the Democratic Party can still be quite effective.
We have other questions then.
Okay.
Very
Thank
nice
you.
to have
Okay.
you to come to my
Thank you very
Thank you,
much. No, it's
thank you
been
very
very
much.
nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, so this afternoon you have a lecture in Peking University?
No, I gave my lecture there yesterday. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have a lecture tomorrow at the University of International Business and Economics.
Oh,
And you, how long you will stay here in Beijing?
Only until Friday. I fly back to Washington on Friday.
You are the visiting scholar of the Peking University.
Just for a short period, for a few days. Yeah.
Hopefully you meet you next time.
Yes, I hope so. I look forward to coming back again soon.
And you have time, you just come to Caixin office.
Yes, no, it would be a great
Give us some lecture.
Thank you. The poster?
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a little large, but
I can tell my children that I'm famous in China.
你看你这个
He's from the our person's hometown, and we try to
My wife is a big drinker of tea, so she will be.
我下午要找你那个，因为你下午了，是吧？
Thank you.
都要那个。
或者我们加个微信，
加微信。
加微信吧，其实会好。
还在录。
你下午